Now, apart from promising to do something about the facilities, the House of Reps committee is happy about the 100 billion naira appropriated for the judiciary in the 2018 budget. They believe it will go a long way in addressing, among other things, the issues of facilities and the welfare of judges. But what do the legal practitioners think? Is the proposed funding adequate? This was the first question I put to my guest, Mr. Kunle Ogunba, a senior advocate of Nigeria.
In my view, the funds allocated from, if you look at it, there are several courts. When you talk about the judiciary, there is the Federal Court, there is well, let's start from the top, the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, the all courts under them, the various state high courts, who all feast on this collective pool. So I'm aware, for example, that the Federal Court has been trying to put up a building, a more edifying building in Lagos, for example, their most active judicial division, and they've been unable to do so in the last couple of years. And it's largely due to the fact that the funds are inadequate. And if you look at it also from the operating environment, if you go to the courts, there are files all over the place, and really it's a mockery of what we call judiciary, and that is why even indeed a litigant who goes to that environment will not so much respect the court, because if you look at it, the environment is shabby and the courtrooms are filthy. Sometimes they operate without generators when there's so really it leaves much to be desired. And I think from that perspective, the funding is grossly inadequate. The proposal is grossly, I don't know the budget process, if because I understand even that the 100 billion is still a proposal at this time. It could be reduced. I don't know if it could be increased, but I would be happy that more funds are allocated to the judiciary for the vital role they play in the stabilizing the polity. And the judges keep increasing, the volume of work keep increasing, the even lawyers that are being called, the volume of cases being increasing, but the judges, the environment is just static. So it has to revolve around the development. It cannot stand alone when the society is moving on.
Would you then support the call in some quarters for the constitution to be amended so that the budget of the judiciary can be presented separately from that of the general budgets?
No, when we talk about separation of powers also, there should be separation of funding. The judiciary should not be made to root its own budget, in my own view, through the executive, so that the executive solely present that budget. I'm aware also that in budget defending, the judiciary also relates with the legislative arm of government to defend the budget. Within that context, judiciary still have a say, but it would have been more appropriate if the judiciary, for example, if it is judiciary that's presenting the budget, it might perhaps itemize its needs more than the 100 billion that was allocated. In that context, then it's left for either the executive to the legislature to approve or non-approve. But I think the budget office of the presidency looks at these things holistically based on what the availability, and then they try to allocate. We can put in place processes to ensure that the funds are properly utilized or monitored, but to try and gag the judiciary via the executive as to how much is presented, I think is not ideal.
I'm glad you talked about the issue of monitoring, because there's some thinking in some quarters that the affairs of the judiciary is shrouded in secrecy. Why is it that we can't see a breakdown of the budget? Why can't the NJC publish the breakdown of how it spent previous budgets on its website?
The thing is like putting the cart before the horse. I don't, with these institutions, they do not run a not too transparent system. I'm aware there are registries, I'm aware there are accountants, and I'm aware there are processes of even appointing contractors and whatever for them. So I don't think it is, except you want to point out a case, because I'm not aware of these funds not being properly utilized in previous years. If you place it side by side with the executive, you know, the cleanest arm of government, from my own view, thus far has been judiciary.
But you would agree that the judiciary could do with more transparency